signs you're out of alignment, that we can be out of alignment. It is a new rise and shine show. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo están? How are you guys? Se habla español. You speak Spanish. You talk to me in Spanish in the comments. I'll reply back in Spanish. Buenos dias. Thank you, Miss Charmaine. You speak English. Awesome, because that's going to be the major language over here. So happy Friday. Today is Friday the 7th, 2025. Wow, 7 days have passed by like this, and I do have something special to share. It's something I've been working on. Well, I will say in the past 2 years, but really focused really in the past 2 weeks. It's been insane. All right, so let's get started, Miss Charmaine, with today's show. And we have a question. Okay, I put up a survey in Facebook, and we had three options about a new Rise and Shine show, the Rise and Shine show, and something else, right? But the one voted was B. Miss Charmaine, can we show the Rise and Shine show? So check it out. I don't think it's showing. Unless it is showing on your end, Miss Charmaine. But so I'm not too happy with the Miss Charmaine. Did it come out? It didn't come out in my end, but that's okay. It could be my computer. No? Okay. Well, what about on you? Can you try on you? I don't think I see it. Yeah? Okay. All right. As long as the people see it. I can't see it for some reason, but that's all good. And so there's that font of the that doesn't like match a little bit in here. So I was just like wondering, should we keep a new? So let me see if I play it, if it shows up. So here we go again. Let me try it. Let me try it, Miss Charmaine. Ah, there it is. That's the okay, cool. So it happened when I did it, and that's a new. All right, now I can see it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so as far as the font and to keep like what we've been doing, like 'cause we have left the morning show, we are rising and we are shining with the show because morning sounds very depressing. So anyway, let me know in the comments if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. Oh, and also shout out to Darlene. Darlene, thank you so much for this bracelet. I told you that I was gonna give you a shout out, right? Because we're gonna rise and shine. And shine, and why I have slashes of pink in the logo. I grew up not liking pink, but there's like that pink that's right there in the show that makes like it encouraged me, it lifts me up, it sparks something, and why also my glasses have the color. And so anyway, I've been like adding that spark because everything I used to own was very dark colors. And the truth is, people, it's because I was told that darker colors make you look slimmer. And can you believe growing up all this time, speaking about out of alignment, because we're going to go off a little bit in here, is that I felt off just wearing those dark colors, thinking it was hiding stuff. Whew, can you imagine hiding all of your life because you think you're overweight or like you should be hiding that? Woo! That did something here and created a story that I wasn't accepted for who I am. Hence, not being able to breathe comfortably and be comfortable in my own skin. Can anybody relate to that? So, we're talking about alignment. Are we out of alignment? And we're going to dig in today through humor and through videos and through whoever comes in the conversation. So what do we get started, Mr. Maine, with today's dad joke? I've said it many times, but this little girl says it way better than me.
What did the buffalo say to his son when he dropped him off at school? Bye, son.
I love that laugh. How adorable is she? Like that laugh right there, like this. Like she gets a little embarrassed. It's like, okay, yes. And this dad joke was brought to you by Mr. Maine. Let's pull that comment. Mr. Daniel send that over. Guys, listen. Can anyone beat that joke? Because I've said it. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Can anybody beat that? It's like, come on. She's super cute. And talking about her, like, that's how my hair used to be when I was young. And then I went on because appearance, we're talking about that, right? Somebody said something about your hair and then they did a perm. And then this mess happened, right? And I was like, man, I had to get back to my shiny straight hair. So anyway, let me know. And Danny, you know what? I'm glad you're here because I wanted to ask you. I know you're into cars, motorcycles, and we are talking about alignment. And the only thing I remember, Miss Charmaine, if we could go to the next slide. Let's go to okay, yeah, because we're gonna get there. Okay, so hold on, Daniel. Hold on to your motorcycle because I have a question, I think, from the perspective of someone who has a gift with cars and motors. Is that the right term? I'm not sure. Hold on. Okay. The weatherman, Daniel, you're going to be so disappointed. He's not here today because he got woken up twice at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. to go walk a really spoiled dog. So we're gonna give him a little break for today. But as far as right now in Orlando, you guys let me know in your neck of the woods. This is brought to you by AccuWeather. Because I have not left the house this morning. I usually don't leave the house till about 11 anyway. But right now it is 69, but it feels like 72. So it's warm and it's most likely humid. I could feel it a little bit. Let me know what the weather's in your neck of the woods. Whether you're watching the replay, I want to know. I want to know what's going on. I do know it's super cold in so many places. Next slide, Miss Tremaine, because we're gonna get right into we're gonna skip that one. We're gonna skip that one until later because I think, yeah, we're gonna come back to later. Let's go to the next slide. We do have a birthday. Oh gosh. Okay. So I find this person to be I was in a period of time where I was like, why am I in leadership? And I was having a really hard time. I didn't feel aligned. Talk about alignment. Oh, hold on. 45 in Staten Island. That's pretty warm. That's warm, right? For like, weren't you guys like having a little snow, 37? That's crazy. That's nice. Actually, 45 is nice. I feel like that's like that crispy cold. Well, if you don't like cold, then it's not nice for you. But thank you, Daniel. Um, but back to this misalignment. I was like, why am I in leadership? I didn't understand it. Like, I love being in leadership, but I was just second guessing myself based again from stories we make on ourselves, right? That women should not be leading over men. And I had the best conversation with my friend John Bean. I'm gonna say because I'm about to talk about someone's birthday, and he goes, "You know what? You know who's gonna be a good person to talk to? It's gonna be my mom." And so, first of all, happy birthday, Connie Bean! Let's put it up in there. Yeah, her birthday was yesterday. And I remember going to her house and she's sitting. There's a section in her house where she has like these big chairs. And I felt like I was like in the presence of someone who was very comfortable in leadership, very wise. And Connie, like when I was having the conversation with Johnny, he told me to meet with you and we sat there and you shared so much, which we'll not share it in here, of course, but what I walked away with was just like just your comfortability and being a leader and not, and for me to step into that and in a circle where how do I say this in a way where I don't think many people, or at least women, feel as comfortable. And when I had the conversation with me, it gave me lots of, it was like, like that green light. It was out of alignment, and it was like, it was a line. And so funny that we're talking about this, but there was a lot of out of alignment because there was like guilt and there was shame. And I don't know about you. What are some of your signs when you're out of alignment? Okay. But for me in this particular story, I felt like, why me? Why me? Why? And anyway, so I love that. Happy birthday, Connie. Like I told you on Facebook, make it an awesome week. Not today. Let's celebrate you all week. All right, Miss Shermaine, we'll go to the next slide because I'm now going to ask Daniel about alignment. What does alignment mean? I am drinking water this morning with some lemon, with some limon, and it's tasting really good. Next slide, because we're gonna get right into it. The out of alignment. So Daniel, I have a question. What's alignment? Because I know I've shared many times what like some people have told me, or at least someone gave me a metaphor which was really powerful. But I also have to have taken my car to the mechanic so it could be aligned. And I remember the mechanic explaining it to me that it felt very like, I don't know, Russian and Chinese, like, as in like I didn't understand. Like I know he was talking to me in English, but my brain was not processing. And he's like showing me, he like took it out of the tire. You see this and you see that. If that, thank you, Mr. Main. If that, it's like this is what's going on, and it's something about padding. I don't know. I could be wrong. This is like a long time ago. I had to be in my 20s, and me calling my dad, like, I'm so confused. He's like, leave. Do not trust mechanics. Like he's very big. Like I need to go and take you. What are you doing? And I was like, well, because something was smoky. I needed it, like, I think probably going to work. And I just thought going to a mechanic, the right thing to do is like, if it's your problem with the car, you go to a mechanic. You want good nutrition, you go to the nutritionist, right? Like, but anyway, my dad's like, get out, right? And then he tried something, but what I do remember is how once it got fixed, whether my dad helped me or whether I went to another place, I didn't need to understand it. The point is that it got fixed and it felt smoother after that. And so fast forward, late 20s, I'm in, I think it's Miami. So it was like the late 90s, it could have been then. Of the vice president of this company I was working for told me this metaphor. It's just very simple. Are you guys ready? He goes like this. This is misalignment, right? But alignment equals velocity. He went just like that. And I remember that mechanic like sharing, like showing me the two tires and showing me like the, I don't know what it's called, Daniel. I'm sure you know, like that thing that's supposed to keep it alive. And I'm like, so when he did this, right? He's like, if you're like here, it's gonna be slower. And I was like, oh my gosh. I kept looking at the tires, like, or whatever. And I was like, because I remember how much more smooth my days were. And so I love that analogy. I'm not sure if like how does that work in motorcycles or whatever. Um, but those are the two things that has come up, or the metaphor is that, because I've seen it too with like relationships. Oh, but let's go to what Daniel said. Yes. When a car is not in line, your tires will not wear correctly, and your car will not run straight, and the steering wheel will always be checking. Oh, that's true. Yes, checking it will run. Will never run right. Definitely run slower, and Look at that. Dude, yes, guys. Slower and we will burn more gas. When we're not aligned with our purpose, we're going to be slower and we're going to burn more time and energy. Oh, this is so cool. God, yes. Yes. I forgot about the steering wheel. Yeah, because it will pull, right? It will pull like a certain way. And that's, I think maybe that's what my dad told me. Like if it's pulling, that means you're out of alignment. But I didn't know that, right? That is so cool, Daniel. This is why Daniel gets to start. When are we? Where's the little? Hey, okay. Thank you, Miss Romaine, for letting me know that. I love it. Okay, yes, I think that's so interesting. So, like I was mentioning in some of the signs, right? Signs you're out of alignment. I was sharing at the beginning like this guilt and shame for doing something, not understanding because of like that story that we're telling ourselves. It's so crazy. Like the closing, right? Because in my head, I'm thinking darker colors will like make you look slimmer. And it's like, wow. I'm very grateful for my dad because I think that good dads make very confident girls. And I believe that wholeheartedly because I thank my dad that he actually it wasn't about being his princess or whatever. Okay, Daniel, I think you were talking about the dads, I'm assuming. But he told me, like that it's about being kind. It's about, like not just kind was very big. See, my mom wanted me to just get straight A's. And she made sure I had a schedule and a routine to get straight A's all through elementary school. Like I was a straight A student all the way to middle school. And but my dad's like, I don't care about school. I don't care about your grades. I want you to be a kind person. And so I'm very grateful for those two, right? Because my mom was like, listen, you get the A. Push people aside. And I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's what she told me. But she was like, very much of me getting an A. And my dad was very much like, you got to be a kind person. But anyway, what I'm saying with like these dads, like great dads, is like, like he taught me things, right, that really helped me become more confident and persistent. Like he taught me how to ride a bike. Now, looking back, he was very determined to teach me in a weekend. Did I bleed a lot? Yes, I got hurt. I got hurt because he was so determined that I was going to learn in a weekend. He was going to take the training wheels off and I was going to learn. However, I felt super amazing knowing I could ride a bike. And then I self-taught myself how to ride, not a ride, but how to roller skate, which I am actually going to share if I could get to it. Because anyway, I think I'm looking for it and it's right here. All right. I'm going to show a picture because we're talking about awesome. Okay, here's a picture. I shared this with my friends the other day. Here's me uh, with my roller skates. That's a poem I wrote about that. And you know what's interesting about this picture? Because we're talking about out of alignment, and I was talking about darker colors. I know you can, it's hard to see. Let's see. There it is. You know that at that age, my friends, that I thought I was fat. Like I look at this picture and I don't see because there was probably maybe like a little bloating or something, but I look back and I'm like, shoot, I'm chubby now, like back then, but it was just like that perspective, right? Because that again, it goes like feeling out of alignment, it's not necessarily your reality. I'm finding it more and more that it's the thoughts you say about yourself. And yes, it could be influential by what other people said, but you're the one processing that, right? And so some of the things that are signs of out of alignment is that we're most likely listening to a lot of what other people are saying. Like we're just bombarded by certain statements, and you could be 40, 50, 60 and still go through all that, right? So some of those signs are that, like the shame, guilt, hiding, right? I was sharing earlier, that I will wear darker colors because I thought I was like hiding the fact, like it's not. That's such a fat lie. And hey, listen, if you're young, I got a text from my nephew last night. He's like, "Hey, my neighbor watches your show." I'm like, "Well, tell your neighbor thank you." Like I was super encouraged. But anyway, so again, and we're gonna take this, right, being aligned heart and soul, right, living into our purpose. We're gonna talk about being aligned in your purpose on Monday, but I wanted to come here, so thank you, Daniel, for sharing all this, especially Mr. Main. Can we put that his definition about the alignment? I think it's so cool, right? And I would love to know, like, what are some other signs when you notice when we're at alignment? The other one, here, Daniel's comment, the one on, hold on, I think I got it. Okay, that one. I think it's so cool because these are some of the things, some of those signs. We're slower, we're tired, right? We're burning more energy, aka more gas. There will be signs like you're being pulled to one side. Oh, I think that's actually very good too, because when I feel pulled to one side and lead, like this like magnet way of going one way, I'm like also like a pull to the other. And I that's so cool because with the steering wheel, I don't know how many times that has happened, right? Like you get pulled, you will feel that, right? And I think a lot of times that like we get very, very confused instead of really like asking God to bring that clarity for your, like between you and God, not people. Between you and God, so you could find that alignment through that time that you spend alone. And I think that's what's been like for me. And again, Connie Bean, thank you so much. Happy birthday again. What I saw from that conversation, we could put the sign off now, Miss Tremaine. I saw your wisdom and your comfortability to lead, which reminded me when Dion back in Queens, I was having a problem too when she told me, "Do you care for people?" I'm like, "Yes." Well, you're leading a Bible talk. I still remember that. I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm just a little baby Christian," right? That was a term. She's like, "Do you love people?" It's like, "Yeah." "Do you want to help?" "Yeah." "Okay, you're leading a Bible talk." Like she didn't like let me get in my head. She's like, boop, threw me in there, right? And hold on a second. We have a comment from Daniel. When you're in line with God, people will be taken care of. Yeah, and when we're specific too, right? Because going back to this example I was sharing with, Dion telling me you care about people, it's just asking ourselves like what's true about ourselves, right? And I'm not saying that if you don't like to lead, you don't care about people. No, no, no. She just gave me an example. She just like gave me a directive. Well, do you want this? I was like, yes, then do it. Right? She did. She threw me in the pool. Okay, and that's Dion, and I appreciate her. I love her. That's her personality. Okay. But what I'm saying is that if we ask ourselves, like, what do we really want, right? Or is that what I want, right? Because there's one thing about leading, it could be like a very strong word to some people, but when somebody brings a perspective, it's like, do you care, for my sheep? Do you care for them? Do you want to take care of them? Do you want to be a shepherd? It's one of the reasons Jamie and I love using the word shepherds, because I think a lot of people shy away from that word leader. There's like a lot of pressure, there's like a lot of negativity around it. But do you want to shepherd? Do you want to care for others? Do you care? Do you have that heart to keep your family, right? Hold on a second. I think we have another comment, Mr. Main, from Daniel. On the serving part. Yeah. Shepherds serve, right? Shepherds get up early. Shepherds have dogs. I'm just kidding. I love my puppy. Thank you, Mr. Main. Yeah. And so, like, the question is, again, getting a line and maybe perhaps start using some of the language, right? So I'm gonna go surf instead of like I'm now way comfortable in saying that I'm a leader and I love to lead. Like, it's taking a few decades because being outside of leadership for like 4 years, because I made a decision to lead myself. I'm gonna lead myself, right? Like God and me, right? And then I'm put back into a leadership position, and I did that for 2 months in an after school setting. It's when I said, oh my gosh, yes, I love to shepherd. I love to lead. I love my children. I love my children's parents. Like, this is all I want. This is why I went to school. I drove 3 hours outside of Queens so I could get my degree in youth development, because that's what I wanted, right? And so that alignment made it way faster, because before I was misaligned, meaning, am I going to major in psychology? Am I going to be a teacher? I don't know, right? But when I found out that this college had youth development as a degree, and that was going to allow me to become a director for the YMCA, I was aligned, and that I graduated in 2 semesters. I'm not saying because I'm so smart, I'm not a book person at all. What I'm saying is that I found the right people, the right school that took my old credits, and I graduated. It was like the expressway of getting my bachelor's. I think I already shared this before in Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish, this is what I shared last week. I was like, Queens College told me I was going to graduate in 2008. Springfield College told me I would graduate in 2005 because they were going to take my credits, and a lot of the credits I took in psychology and in teaching and all that was going to count. So, I chose graduation 2005. It saved me 3 years of paying all this ridiculous money. Don't get me started what I feel about college. But anyway, now. And so I chose that one because I was aligned. That is exactly what I want to do. I want to be a director. I don't care what happens. I'm working with the youth. I'm going to be, because it was my spark. I'm not only working with children, I have a team. I'm working with parents. I'm working with teachers, like the whole school, right? So anyway, so thank you, Daniel. Absolutely. Let me know. Hold on one second. We have another comment. In line equals speed and purpose. Yeah, for sure. Because I was okay, that was it. And the thing about when we think that we have to wait for a sign. Now, I hear me out, people here, because I've been in 2 schools of thoughts lately, and faith and trust in once you choose and decide or feel aligned, it's a very beautiful combination, right? Because right now we're in a season where I thought I was very focused on this is what's going to happen, and it's been like no, 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 no. But when we realize that, okay, hold on, why is this not working? Hold on a second, what's going on, right? I realized that when I decided to have more trust, to really surrender, God showed me that those no's were not yet, and how all that was going to be part of what God has in store for me. And so with the equal thing that Daniel just said, you know, being aligned, at least in my life, when I said, okay, I feel this is what I want, God has moved the needle. Not only did he, like, a door got open, it was like a door, a window, it was like speed, like Speedy Gonzalez, like do you guys remember the Atari? This is how old I am. I'm 48. the Atari card game with it will have like those arrows, and if you went to the arrow, like like took your. I don't do games, but that game I remember because I had an Atari and I only had two games, and that's all I play, like whatever, once a week or something. It wasn't like I was a gamer, but I remember that game. And so yes, when we're aligned with God's specific purpose for us, it absolutely will speed you up. Hey, Barbara's in the house. Yeah. Okay, so Barbara is so funny because yeah, Tari was awesome. Barbara is from Springfield College. So Barbara, look, listen, like it was that decision, right? Like, okay, and Springfield College was like the best thing that happened to my purpose, right? It was like the most two powerful semesters really of my life, and especially being in the YMCA because I went to Canada twice. Like we went all over the United States with that program because all I wanted to be was a director. And like that thing spit up. Yes, go yes for Atari. Hey, I feel like not as old, but I think you're younger. Hey, how do you know about Atari? Anyway, people know about Ataris, but anyway, good to have you here. Good to have you. So thank you, Daniel. And so yeah, so let me know in the comments what are some signs that you have gone through of out of alignment, and then let's come back on Monday because Monday we could talk about all the ways that we get to really align with our purpose. And if you've been part of the show, you know that everything I've been talking about for 238 episodes. That's a lot of episodes, okay? 238 episodes have been on the benefits and the power and the magic of self reflection. And in order for us to self reflect, we got to stop. Like, so it's like if we are just constantly busy, how do we ever stop to self reflect? And so, anyway, I wanted to create this show, and I'm totally going over minutes, but it seems like the more minutes, more interaction that we're getting. I learned that from the live stream with that we're doing with the podcast. But I wanted to bring a piece of this information out to everybody, and I love that it's Monday and Friday because we get to begin our week and end our week together, and I love that. I was called to homeschool after 14 years, and yeah, oh, I didn't know you homeschool. That is so cool. I sort of heard your you had like an interview about I forget the name of the ML, and but it was about your journey. Anyway, they couldn't get you in the camera. We need to talk, girl. But that is so cool that you homeschool. Um yeah, my sister homeschools, so my heart with the homeschool community is huge. I got a best friend too that homeschools in Tennessee, and yeah, yeah, we gotta talk. This is so cool. This is so cool. I'm sorry, Miss Tremaine, let's pull up Miss Barbara's comment because after 14 years in education field, so the education field was not aligned with you. That's what I'm remember. I wonder what video that is you're referring to. Oh, it was like just lately. It was like somebody brought you in their little their live about, oh my gosh, I forget. My gosh. Is it I don't know how to even pronounce it, but it's like really natural good products. That's all I know. Because I was in Young Living for like 2 to 3 years, and I'm all for that. Yes. Okay. So how do you pronounce it? Airborne? Arbor? Listen, we gotta have a talk so you can let me know what it's called. But anyway, yeah, I think a lot of us I don't know when you came on the live, Barbara, but I know for me, one sign of not being aligned was that I kept being pulled one direction and the more I was being pulled, the more like appalled I was of something else. And it really was like that. It starts like that, right? Like you have really strong feelings, and I'll share one since you brought it up. To me, a Department of Education, especially in New York City, as a director, yeah, so you can relate. Our bond, let's hold my heavy. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. Um, one of the things for me is like being a director in an after school program or being a summer camp director in a school led me to see a lot of stuff that I was very appalled to, and that one thing was behavior, how they discipline children. Because I totally believe in positive reinforcement, and that was not what's being said. It is like a conviction you get. Yeah, yeah, yes, 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 Barbara. Because I was like, we're not talking to the children this way. We're not, and here I am. I have like a group of, I don't know, 150, 300 students at that time that I was leading. And my conversations with my staff was like, we're using positive reinforcement. We're not yelling, we're not pointing out, we're not doing any of the stuff. But I'm a para. This is the only way you could talk to this child. And I said, not here, not here, not in this environment. And so there was a lot of pull, a lot of training, a lot of conversations, a lot of showing how much beneficial was positive reinforcement versus yelling and singling a student out. Even now, 2025, as advanced the Department of Education think they are, because when I started in 2000, that's 25 years ago, it was very different. Like the word positive reinforcement didn't even exist in New York City. Because I clearly remember going to trainings in Manhattan, knowing that this information was not out there in the Department of Education, and that we were the ones bringing this information to the schools. And just like being, when teachers started noticing how much more the kids will like to be in after school in our programs versus sitting in one chair for 8 hours, I think people were waking up to it. But I became very, very appalled at one point, right? And when I didn't have that support, it's when I created YSuperstars. Like right there, YSuperstars, because you are, that's the name of the company, right? And we're gonna treat everybody equally, right? We're gonna give the children the respect, right? And I think in a lot of cultures that doesn't happen either. And it could be also culture. But anyway, you just got me started with that with education, because I obviously went through 25 years basically, and still now, about positive reinforcement versus singling people out. Hold on a second. We have another comment from Ms. Barbara. Ms. Charmaine can put up, I did positive reinforcement and I found that the gap needed to be bridged with the parents. Yes, I got burned out for most of my career. Last 4 years were better. Yes. Yeah. And so I believe that it's so slow because the institution, it's so, the magnet of creating workers versus thinkers, it's so strong in the Department of Education, it doesn't give this room, right? Because our society, 2020 was the shift I needed to take the homeschool journey. Applause, stars, yes, I love it. And we certainly that I'm definitely calling you this afternoon or this weekend, okay? Because we gotta talk. Yeah, and I think the shift is it comes to people at their own time. And instead of pushing that, right, I've learned that I was no longer gonna push positive reinforcement. I was gonna show it, and I was gonna allow people to go through their own journey. And it's so true, because it is a personal shift. I think a lot of people shift because their children, their own story, right? It's really personal, right? But I do believe like the institution is so much about creating workers and not thinkers. And so when you understand that you are dealing, I used to ask my staff, what industry are we in? And they would tell me, we're in the industry of education, of youth programming. And I was like, nope, We are in the industry of souls. Just think about that. We're in the industry of souls. So that means this is a really high calling, my friend. Like working with children is a high calling. Like you are dealing with a soul, right? So if your group is 10, 20, whatever, those are the souls you're responsible for. You start thinking differently. You start understanding what words you use with souls and how powerful your words are with souls versus this is just my job. These are just kids, right? Like you're dealing with a soul that receives, that's very sensitive, that's very open, especially under 8 years old. Yes, I did. Hey, Montessori training, and it allowed me to venture in a different, how do you pronounce that? You're going to help me break that down later. However, it was difficult with state mandates. Yep, not a lot. And that's what we're talking about. Alignment. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And when we're not aligned, we're being pulled, and it's hard. I mean, tell me about it, Barbara. Was it hard? Oh, when I made decisions to leave certain things that because I've shifted, it's very hard. I want my kids to be critical thinkers. Yes, yes. And why is that? Okay, let's talk about that for 1 second. I've been in environments where we believe that if we push a certain thing on them, since like early childhood or whatever, that they're gonna turn to be good people. And there's gonna be, I don't know, there's gonna be so much like temptation, so many other choices, that if we don't allow our children to decide for themselves, for them to have common sense, they're gonna be followers. And I rather create with my niece and nephew, me and my husband, man, we are like, we ask questions. It was because I spent 2 to 3 years learning the Montessori curriculum, yet public schools has developed a purpose for Montessori. Yeah, has developed a purpose for Montessori. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I know only a little bit of Montessori through like my friend Abby, and then my friend Vanessa, who's here. And Vanessa, I think, was a teacher. And so there's a lot of information out there. And since we were talking about critical thinking, I just find it so because isn't it in the Bible, right, to teach our kids? Like it's not you better do something. It's like, hey, lead by example, right? The best form of youth development, in my opinion, is for us to live a life to the full, like for us, the adults, to lead by example, right? I find that to be the best form of youth development because children do what you do, not what you say. And 25 years of hearing this or seeing that and knowing the difference, and seeing a parent, seeing the kids who are the critical thinkers, who are more confident, it's like a lot of it too, in the home environment. So that's absolutely, oh my gosh, we could stay here for an hour. This is like one of the longest Rise and Shine show. Okay, no longer the morning show. And talk about alignment. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. I hope that you guys found this Rise and Shine um inspiring, to go find out, to stop for a second, to self-reflect what's out of line, right? And start being curious about those things are coming up for us. And that's all it is as far as right now. It's being curious without having so much pressure, like I need to change it, I need to, I should, and have to. Those are pressure. That's pressure language. We want to get to a place where we get to do something. I think Miss Barbara is sharing something else, Miss Charmaine. Let me know if you would like to connect. Yes, for sure, my friend. Afternoon for me too. Like I'm gonna go and see my old kids for the after school program. And so I should be home like around 6 after dinner, 7 p.m. or something like that. We are definitely going to reconnect. Guys, thank you so much for joining a new Rise and Shine show. Today was a long one. And alignment. If you're feeling out of alignment, watch the whole show. We'll catch up on Monday where we get to realign with purpose and just some ways that we could do that. And again, and no challenge right now, Miss Tremaine. We're gonna the chat will, I guess, finding some time to reflect. And I know that could be difficult. And I know I said it like 100 times in here, but we're going to wrap it up because I need to get going. So, but guys, thank you for joining. Daniel, Barbara, thank you for joining the conversation. I hope you guys come back for Monday and more people come back because it's about all of us, right? Like Daniel's definition or in the perspective of talking about alignment, right? Even when it comes to a car, was a really great metaphor to share some of the things that I got to share, and then Barbara got to share, and Daniel got to share. So we all can just grow and add to the conversation as we become more critical thinkers in this society that needs critical thinkers, not followers. We need leaders. We need common sense and put on our thinking hats. It's there, guys. We got a break. All right, Miss Tremaine. Let's go right into our walkout song, guys. Thank you so much for joining the Rise and Shine. Yes, like Miss Tremaine say, like, share, and I will see you on Monday. Hey, salute. Boop.